Palestinian armed factions in the occupied West Bank continue to develop their tactics and capabilities despite facing heavy pressure from the Israeli military, security forces, and intelligence. On June 19th, the Jenin refugee camp in the northern West Bank witnessed a fierce battle. The battle began when troops from the Israeli Defense Forces entered the outskirts of the camp in the early morning to detain two wanted Palestinians suspected of involvement in what Israel calls terror activities. As Israeli troops were leaving Jenin, a large explosive device was detonated near a Panther armored personnel carrier. The blast inflicted heavy damage on the vehicle and left 7 soldiers with light to moderate injuries. Palestinian fighters, mainly from the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, then opened fire at the disabled vehicle as the IDF worked to evacuate its wounded soldiers to hospitals. An 8th soldier was lightly wounded in the subsequent clashes. To cover the extraction of the wounded soldiers under fire, an Israeli Apache attack helicopter launched missiles at open areas near the site of the roadside bomb blast in order to disturb Palestinian fighters. Strikes marked the first in the West Bank in some 2 decades. Palestinians opened fire at the Apache helicopter, causing minor damage to the tail rotor. The helicopter was later forced to land. The IDF operation in Jenin claimed the lives of 7 Palestinians, 4 of whom were civilians. More than 100 others were wounded, according to health officials in the West Bank. After the fierce battle in Jenin, several Israeli right-wing lawmakers and officials made calls for the military to carry out a large-scale operation in the West Bank. Tensions in the occupied Palestinian region escalated again on June 20th when 2 Palestinian gunmen opened fire on a restaurant and gas station in the settlement of Eli, near the city of Nablus. The gunmen killed 4 Israelis and injured 4 others. One of the gunmen was shot dead at the scene by an armed Israeli civilian, while the second fled and was killed some 2 hours later by special forces. A few hours after the deadly shooting attack, Israeli settlers stormed Luban al-Shakia, Huwara, Beit Furik, Budin, and other Palestinian towns near Nablus in the northern West Bank. The settlers torched property and smashed cars with stones. 3 Israelis were arrested over the attacks. The fierce battle in Jenin and the Eli shooting attack show how Palestinian armed factions in the West Bank have been developing their tactics and capabilities in an attempt to establish a new reality in which the Israeli military, security forces, and intelligence can't operate freely or without a cost in the occupied region.